I don't know, good or bad, but it's a 9-9 day. I'll get into that later. Anyway, take a look at disclosure. Let's get to it. All right, guys. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. 8:15. It is Tuesday. A lot of stuff going on this morning. Overall, though, indices having another kind of, inside-ish day, which is good. The SPYs are up 70, 80 cents, and stocks could do whatever they want to do. So the SPYs are on like a headwind, a tailwind, just kind of in line, so you could see where the relative strength, weakness is, and stick with situations that are showing their face. So as long as we hold 647.23, which it looks like we're doing, can continue sideways. I have a little premium sold for today. It worked yesterday. That's my hedge, because I do have a lot of stuff going on here. This is my virtual trading floor. This is, what I am trying to rotate through and do what I got to do. Not a huge portfolio approach, but still got a lot of stuff going on here. Anyway, that's the Alpha team. They get to watch the morning call also. I'm glad I changed that up about 6 months, a year ago. I'm like, guys, why doesn't the Alpha team watch a morning call? They're the ones that with me all day long. Anyway, so with that being said, so that's the SPYs. Let's go to the Qs real quick. Sorry. Oops, Qs. Showed a little relative strength. Inside day also. Take a close look. As long as it holds 580-ish, can't get too bearish. And if we were to get above 581-ish, then you can get to 583-ish. And you can still get to here and be fine after the size of the move. So we'll see how it goes. IWM likes a cool PPI and CPI. We won't know that till starting tomorrow, but it's still trending very well. XBI also, trending very well. For those of you who are navigating that sequence that started pretty much here, actually really here. Anyway, I did buy some XLE back yesterday. I sold that pretty perfectly. And we bought it pretty perfectly. We were buying it at the low end of the range, added, and then sold it all just to get out of the way. And now I'm buying some $88 ones back. I'm kind of anticipating this is for 10/10, so I have a whole month. They're pretty damn cheap if this wants to wake up, so I'm doing that. I wanted to buy the XLV. I didn't get a chance. I talked about this the recap yesterday. Some of you guys are already buying it. UNH is up a bunch, so UNH is kind of getting this going a little bit. 200 days right there. It's been above this gap for a while, so very interesting here for those who want some kind of cheap option plays. Then you move to where the action is, NBIS. Some guys are long it. I know Peter, who gives some longer term plays, gave this one a long time ago. This one actually did really well for me for earnings, thank goodness. I remember during earnings season and we were trying to play this and I took some options, made good money. Unfortunately, I never went back to my own little swing strategy where you could be long versus a gap pivot and just sit. If you were, congratulations, you just got paid handsomely. If you're in a, some guys don't like to actively trade, which is cool because not everyone's a prop trader for a living. So there's NBIS. So that said, NBIS is where? NBIS is up 35 at 99. Would I buy the open? Probably not, but doesn't mean you could just short it. We'll see how it goes. So there is a group of names that people think, could trade with it. You have this IREN, which has been at the top of the go-to list. Told you guys, like my friends have been selling $25 puts, and I think they have some calls on. But anyway, we'll get to that. Wolf is up 37 cents. So these are like some names that I feel like, people try and put into that group. With that being said, look at Wolf, by the way. Look at this nice bull flag. I was a little excited about it, and then I actually got even more excited when I was like, wow, look at the weekly chart. Go to the weekly chart, and this thing was a big time mover to 43. You have a bull flag right here. Supposedly, Google took a stake of them. Why can't this get to 14? So I'm gonna try and stay with this. Nice. This has been in range a little for 3 years. So it's something maybe, do some homework on yourself also. Could be something that, you could sink your teeth into and get some nice size. So this IREN, I don't know if it's going to have enough juice to break out again, but wow. Look at this. This was a newer name too. You can see it more on the daily. Held the 8-day while a lot of things came in. This is 29.50. No, actually 30.01. I'm sorry. Be careful buying strength today, but if you're in it, congratulations. Nice move. Got to be in some of these things, I guess, for the news to come out so you can make the real money instead of just the knick-knack money. But anyway, my back needs a little itchy. Anywho, with that being said, that's IREN. So that's a little group. You know what I might do also? I know my friend really likes this pony, Pony. I remember we bought it here and it sucked. Bought it here, it wasn't good. So I have a feeling, I think I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some options for this. I'm going to try and give it like 6 weeks maybe even more. Just go out and see where there's some liquidity and buy like the $17 calls or $18 calls for, at some point this might get going, have a nice move. And I want to kind of be there. A lot of accumulation here for this, but it's Pony AI. Ooh, what was that? What's CWDI, Mick? Oh, look at these little crazy little small stocks. What's this? What'd you say, CWD? What happened there? Chainlink Treasury. All right, wow. Anyway, a lot of treasuries, kind of like the old school SPACs. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Let's move on. Okay, let's go to like mega cap tech. Almost seems boring now, right? Amazon had a decent push yesterday. We'll see what happens there if it can continue. Above 236, 237.60, gets to 242-ish. Tesla, I got caught yesterday. I bought a little bit options early, so I added to it on the way down. We'll see if it could hold here, go sideways. If it were to bounce, I'd create a spread there. See if it holds 343-ish. Apple has the event today. We'll see what goes on here. Sold it really well actually. Now we'll see if they could bring it in. I probably would be buying it on a dip. Figure sometimes they try and sell the event. If they could sell the event because it's nothing revolutionary, it's just evolutionary, then they try and sell it and then it goes up for a few days. So we'll see. Netflix is just doing what Netflix does, floats around. At least it gave you 2 different trades, a little red dog reversal here. It got through 1232, peaked a little bit now. You could be long versus 1232. Meta's been really tough. It just pushes through and fails until it doesn't. So you're probably better off just being long versus level if you want to be in there. Todd D says iron's one of his biggest positions. Good for you. Okay. China names. Let's just, these have moved up the list. This is where I'm getting paid actually. KWAB, I've been, putting it on there a bunch of different times in the note and charting it. And as this has made a new move above a downtrend line, it's holding. You go to the weekly chart. Someone just said, Kay, could you take a weekly chart look? Weekly chart really just trying to get above this, Weekly chart, if this wants to just get up to towards here, which look where it was back in the day. Today. Wow, I haven't even looked at this in a while. It's exciting. Maybe these Chinese names really get a lot of traction. All I know is that Baba's been great. Baba went from the do not touch list to making us money lots of ways because we've been rolling up options. In here, I remember buying the options on day one. Remember the day one, and then it failed. But then guess what? We went back to it again, made a little bit of money, and then thank goodness held it for the earnings and the talk of their new AI chip. Anyway, sold. Was in the the 129s. I sold 3/4 of it. Got out of the rest here. Went to the 140s, and now here we are into the 145, 148 area. So pretty nice, right? Baba is up 375. I'll probably get rid of the rest of the 140s. And then see if it pulls in, roll them higher. Baidu also is really good. Baidu probably needs a little bit of a break. What's JD doing? Up small. And what's KWeb doing? So this is the group that I'm trading in China. Some people think PDD is doing really well, so maybe PDD. But anyway, Baidu, just gonna sit with. I'd like to see it digest a little bit above this 107-ish. It just had a big move, so you can't really be so aggressive here. But then again, if you look at the weekly chart also, it's in no man's land. Why can't it see 113 to 115? But just got going. This is 155 here. Just saying that could happen too. So I'm gonna try and stick with these for a little bit. Try to, even though a lot of them are overnight stuff. So you really have to just have a lot of options on, which at least your risk. JD finally woke up. JD, I have a lot of different ways. I have the stock. I have $33 calls, a few different expirations, and I would think it can go right to 34-ish, which is the 200-day. Maybe pause there, and then if it could hold well, why can't it go higher? Last time this thing took off with China, went to 47. Not saying it's going to happen again, but it'd be nice. Anyway, looks pretty good. So, I'm in that. Some guy said, look at Tiger. It's hanging here. This is supposed to be like the Robin Hood of China. But anyway, so we'll see. That being said, talking about Robin Hood had a nice gap and go with the S&P inclusion. They have an event tonight, so maybe it digests and then breaks above this tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to buy a dip slowly here, but I would think that it gets above that. What a big move for that stock. NVIDIA is just out of play. I bought some options. There was some news that maybe they got licenses for their chip, and I thought maybe there'd be some news on it today. There wasn't. Anyway, what's NVIDIA doing today? It's up 70 cents. It's not something that's so active right now. Right now, AVGO looks a lot more interesting. Avago is, had a big gap and go. The longer it could digest here, the higher the probability maybe it could take out 356 for more action. Might take a little bit of time. The group is starting to change a little bit where they're trying to, I guess, not just have the whole group move with NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA could be a source of funds and money can go to Avago. Maybe money goes to ARM. ARM looks pretty good. ARM is getting tight here, but again, hasn't triggered anything. Look at this move ASML did. A lot of these things that got beat down, if they fill their gap real fast, they come back. Like, look, this got beat down and then boom. Anyway, I wonder if Marvell could fill its gap. Just kind of poked its head up. A lot of people like this fundamentally. It just came out during a bad part of the market. It's a big gap here. It could be long versus here. Maybe it fills. But these are all different types of trades. Depends on how you want to play it. Talking about crypto real quickly, just to end. Seems like Bitcoin got a bit better. If you could take out this area, I'm in IBIT. Seems like there's a lot of room here towards 117. Right, 117 is right there. So there's a little bit of room between here and there. That's Bitcoin. Ethereum is up a bunch. I got stopped out yesterday. I probably should have given it more room, but I was being a little tight. As long as this holds this 35-ish area, nice little wedge. Maybe at some point you could buy some strength if it can get above this and stay above it. Vivi keeps talking that Salt is going to be the next leader in crypto, which is Sol. So we'll see what happens here. 26.76. Can that go? BMNR. I got out yesterday. I didn't like all the news about all the treasury stocks and the craziness and this and that, even though this chart looks pretty good and looks like it could pop. If you're still in it, congratulations. I made some money buying that dip into the 40 area. I just got away from it. Fibonacci says APLD is in the same group as whatever it's called, MBS. Well, you know what? Did a little bottom tail right there. It failed up here. Maybe maybe this is a level to be long verse. I wouldn't chase it now, but yeah. Could rebuild. I'm in some RR. Looks decent. Just had a big move up towards $4 and came in. I think NVIDIA has a stake here. You look at the weekly chart, looks pretty good. And then lastly, I have to jump gold. I would not be buying gold today. I'm sorry. It's up a bunch. Use your sell rules. What do I mean by sell rules? Well, if you're long it, trim some into strength because it is up. If it fails to hold 335.67, you adjust also, then who knows, maybe you get a day like this. And then all of a sudden, pulls back to the 8-day. We shall see. Just because you're not long, it doesn't mean it's a short, but don't chase the excitement because people are getting very excited there. Oh, lastly, someone asked me about QS. It didn't have much follow through, but now if it could hold 926 and build, there are guys who love this type of battery technology. I think they call it the hard cell batteries, where it can go like 600 to 800 miles versus the lithium that goes 300 to 400. So maybe the adoption rate is there was a deal yesterday with Volkswagen. Maybe there'll be a few more. So if you want to be long, it'd be long versus 926. And that's that. I got to jump. 8:35 has been Zing if you want to tune in.